Hi, everybody. I'm Stitcharoo. Welcome to the Furality Club FYNN interviews. I'm interviewing DJs, and I got a DJ. Which DJ are you?
Hi, I'm Kale the Deer.
You DJ'd Furality Somna. How was your
Yeah,
experience? Tell us about it.
it's awesome. I mean, it never ceases me to amaze me every time. I had a really great experience this time around, and even though there was some little flubs with our first initial recording, I mean, I can't say it was not fun and a unique experience for sure.
What was it like seeing all of your work, the video, and the lighting, and the stage all come together?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, we put on our little pieces of our area into the set in the middle, and it's just really cool to see that on the big screen.
Tell us about that. What do you mean, like your area?
So we did a back to back, and Ember and I decided to do like a combination of showing off like San Diego area and the Central Coast where I live, and just kind of representing where we're from.
How did you decide to show that? Like, what were your decisions on expressing those? Were you showing like street signs?
No, I mean I was just showing like just kind of like the city, and so was Ember showing like the skylines and whatnot.
Oh, that's super cool. That's really cool. Because like, there's a lot of stuff to for like where DJs come from. Like, I know I'm in the Kansas City area, so like dropping little tidbits and little sugar nuggets of where that's from. It's always really interesting. Nobody ever gets
Yeah.
it, in my case. So on that, how did you craft your set? You said you had some flubs in the beginning. What did you do to kind of get it all ready for Furality?
So I mean, we had our set ready, and for me and Ever, it's just going back and forth. Um, I do a piece, and then they do a piece, and put it all together. Uh, but when it finally came out, and when it was playing on the screen, we weren't up on the stage. There was a layering issue, so
Oh no.
yeah, but we overcame it by us both being in the instance and kind of going up in front of the stage as ourselves. And, all of our friends kind of surrounded us, and that just created this unique experience for us. And I thought that was really amazing.
Oh, that's cool. That's a little like a boiler room kind of.
It kind of ended up like that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Those holograms though, those take a lot of work to put out because they have you like dance and move for an hour.
Yeah. Thankfully, we only had to do it for like a half, but I know how it is to keep that up for an hour from last year.
I've broken two headsets doing
Oh my goodness.
So on that, everybody's kind of dying to know what's your hardware software setup like?
So right now I have an XDJ XZ, and I will occasionally use yeah, I use Rekordbox, along with it, depending on if I want to just use the standalone because it's a standalone system. It can, it has its own software built in. But if I'm feeling adventurous, I'll take advantage of those four decks and kind of play around with that.
For sure, for sure. And the XZ, that is like a Pioneer, isn't it?
Yes.
Very cool, very cool. And on the topic of like crafting and stuff, how did you start spinning? What was your give us your origin story?
My origin? Oh my goodness. So this started back in like my first time doing it on anything. It was on my computer, just on the desktop with keyboard and mouse, in 2009. So that was
Shout
like
out
my
to
first
Windows Movie
experience.
Maker.
Yeah, so I used the very first version. No, not the first version, I don't think, but it was the first iterations of Tractor back
Right,
then.
right.
And I just DJ'd for a friend's like birthday party, and then his brother's like high school graduation.
And your back-to-back partner. What had you guys high-fiving on a track for Furality?
Oh, how did we get together and make our
Yes.
decide to? Okay, so I've known Aurora slash Ember for, I don't know, at least a couple of years now. I think it's been, and I noticed that they had been spinning techno, and I really wanted to be like, hey, I want to play some techno too. And they had been doing such a great job, like spinning the stuff that they just starting too. So I said, you know what, let's back to back. I think that would be really awesome if we came together and did that.
What was it like working with the AV team at Furality?
It's I can never not enjoy like seeing what the AV team puts out. It's always never less than stellar. I mean, it's just amazing what they do and how they craft each set to show off like the lighting and what they can do just in the VR space. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, we really went up and over the top for this one for sure. We have the technology.
Yeah, and I seriously cannot wait for what we're gonna see next year. I'm really excited for that.
So I'd like to kind of end these interviews by asking a question to every DJ. A little bit of advice for people looking to get into the craft to start spinning. So, knowing what you know now, if you could give a piece of advice to younger you when you were starting, what would you tell your younger self?
Don't be afraid of failure, and just because it's a no doesn't mean you're a bad DJ. And I really love to iterate that point, especially to newer DJs, because it may feel like you know you don't get picked, and it just feels, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good when you feel like you didn't do enough. But sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. It's not always going to be about your skill or who you are. It's really just sometimes it doesn't happen, but that doesn't mean that there's other opportunities out there that you can go onto. Don't be afraid to just apply to a place.
Like a lot of times, it could just be like the vibes that they were going for don't quite match up with the demo that you sent,
Yeah,
and
it
it's
could
nothing about
be.
skill. It's just vibes were not what we were looking for. How many times have you been like rejected when you were first starting out? Like, did you ever like keep a count?
Well, I learned, that the stuff I was spinning was just I was doing it very cheaply, like not really paying attention to like what I was doing with the transitions and whatnot. So at least starting out, it was probably about like every single one it would get rejected. Maybe the first two that I ever did were simple stuff that it's. But even then, I still got told, hey, here's some tips for you for next time. I know you got in this time, but here's some tips to improve, on
Oh
yourself. I said,
yeah,
okay, thank you. I really appreciate that.
that's cool. I've
Yeah.
been rejected from an open mic night when I was starting out.
Wow.
They're like, yeah, but no, anybody can come but you.
That's rough.
And lastly, our little last bit of tidbit: where can we find your music?
I ran into this problem before, but
Oh,
I do have my music on Mixcloud, but the URL is a little funky. If you just type in Kale Furality, you'd probably be able to find it pretty easily.
John Furality.
John Furality, yeah.
Oh man. And you can also find Kale's music on the YouTubes. Thank you so much for joining me for this little interview. And bye everybody.